But I had to really, one thing that came to the surface was the feeling of belonging. I was born and raised, a little bit about me, I was born and raised here. I was born and raised in Texas. My parents are both Ghanaians. I was born in Texas, been here my whole life, went to Ghana a couple times. But my mother really raised me like a Ghanaian child the best she could in an American environment. But the thing about it is, and this is for anyone who has a child who was born here, there's this complex part of our personalities that we have to kind of deal with being Ghanaian Americans. Because when we're in the environment of Ghanaians, we're not fully accepted as fully Ghanaian. And then when we go into our American side, or the places that we connect to in the American culture, we're not fully American. And so we live with this split of having to turn parts of ourselves off in order to fit in to a certain environment. And so when we are with our Ghanaian family, we have to dim the part of ourselves that is too American. And so we continue to do that. And the thing is, when we do that, it's kind of like we don't really get to fully be who we are. And we just learn how to dim our lights down, dim parts of ourselves down, so that everyone around us can be comfortable and we can be accepted. And for anyone who's been in my situation, if you have experienced the same thing, you can say it in the comment. I agree, I've heard about it, whatever, let me know, because I know I'm not the only one who's gone through this. But even as I grew older and I grew up in the church, I was also seeing this split take place. Because I would go to church and, there were teachings that were being taught and you would want to question it, but culturally you couldn't question an adult. Because if you're questioning the adult, you were questioning God. And so you would have to just accept what was said if you wanted to be accepted in the environment. And this is my experience. If you want to be accepted, you just have to just take it, be quiet, and live with it, even though it didn't sit well with you. And so you would bring ideas, and then, you bring ideas and different projects that maybe you wanted to bring, and you would see that in certain environments, it would be rejected. And you would realize that, for me, I realized like sometimes, things were said sometimes to my face, and some things were not said at all, but I could feel it. And things were just being reinforced that you don't really fully belong here. And to make matters even worse, when people would talk to me, they assume that I was born here, so I don't understand anything. So they'll look at me and they'll be like, "Oh, Shano, oh, Sre," and I'm thinking, I don't hear. And I'm looking at her like, I hear everything that you're saying. I get it. I hear everything. But what was a challenge also was that when people would speak about you, and not just in the church environment, but everywhere around you, they would refer to you as Akata, which is not an endearing word. That's not an affirming word. It's letting you, reinforcing again that you don't fit in. And if I go to my American side of me, they embrace a lot of things. They embrace it, but there were certain cultural things that you have to kind of break down for them. And it's kind of hard to, growing up saying I eat fufu, but I'm hanging out with my American friends, come eat with me. Like there was just some things were just different. But God being so good, I've met a lot of people who've been accepting and all that. But this was my experience.
That's right.
That I did not fully belong. And it didn't happen. It's a lifelong challenge. And even whenever it came to my giftings and my impact, I was easily boxed in, because based on my personality, based on the way that I spoke, based on the way I presented myself, I did not look and appear as what they would consider someone who is gifted or anointed. And so it was easy for me, and has been easy for me for a very long time, to say, you know, I'm just gonna dim that part of me. But through the years, I began to really look for God for myself.
That's right.
And as I'm getting closer to God, as I'm getting closer to him, and he's revealing himself to me, I'm going through experiences, and he's telling me, he's showing me how things that I'm going through is going to be, you know, it's going to impact people around me. And I'm being tugged. There's a gift that's there, but it's being overlooked, and was overlooked for years. The fire is in me, the interest, the passion is in me, but I don't necessarily fit in this. And so it's better for me to dim my light. And it became something like, oh, Liz is shy. Liz is shy. And I don't know, you may be, you know, this might bring to the forefront some of the limitations that you have had to deal with, where you probably dealt with over spiritualization, where you don't know where God ends and where you begin. You might have that whole fear of failure. You're afraid to step out because you've been told that no one does this. No one comes out this box. No one has ever done this and it has succeeded. You might be afraid of success because you've been told that you can't leave us behind. That if you go, you got to go with all of us. And so you find yourself not being able to fully express yourself because you got to bring everybody with you. You might be afraid of separating, where you know the place and the environment you are in does not serve you. But you're afraid of the retaliation, the isolation, from separating yourself from places, and the rejection. Some of us are afraid of the change. And I'm just highlighting some of the limitations that we may be dealing with. That we're people who we like, as long as we're comfortable, we're good. Change, I don't want things to change. And I don't like change. Things change for me. I don't know who I'm gonna become, and I don't want to lose anything from changing. And some of us have dealt with self-esteem issues, self-worth issues, not thinking we are enough. And so we settle. We settle for our marriages. We settle in our careers. We settle for everything. We just take whatever we can get because it's been reinforced that we are not enough, that we don't have the right, we're not worthy. You should be lucky that someone married you. You should be lucky that you finished school. You should be lucky. And some of us are dealing with the lack of control of our lives. Our whole lives, we've had to appease the people around us. And we're living a life that does not belong to us. Everything we're doing has to be filtered by the expectations of everyone in our circle. And as a result of that, we live average lives. We're boxed in. Spiritually, we're limited. Emotionally, we're limited because we've not been given permission. Our emotions are not even validated. Our mental health is being boxed in. So we live average lives. We live lives that don't belong to us. We try to, we kind of compromise to be in spaces that don't serve us. We've let go of dreams. We're afraid to even take a step. We don't have confidence in the voice of God. We don't believe in ourselves. We have no confidence in our ability. And so we've let go of dreams. We've let go of ideas. We've let go of just passion. We've let go of our gifts. And as a result of that, we're Christians, but we're living a limited life.
Hmm.
And for me, you know, it's 1 + 1 is 2. And so if I'm a limited Christian, if I'm a limited believer, then that must mean that the God that's been revealed to me is a limited God.
Mm.
And the truth is, that is not God.
Mm.
God is not a limited God.
Mm.
He is a limitless God.
Yes.
Therefore, I am a limitless child of God.
Amen.
And tonight, you're a limitless.
Yes.
You are a
Yes.
limitless child of God.
Yes.
Because the God that you know that we're talking about, he's a limitless God.
That's right.
And so today, if we are living as limited Christians, that is because the God who's been revealed to us is limited. And at this point, we have to say to ourselves, then we did something wrong. We've understood something wrong. Either it was taught wrong or we understood it incorrectly.